Hey guys, I want to thank you for tuning into this video today. It's a very special video. I got my buddy Mark Lack, a young success guru, entrepreneur, and author of Shorten the Gap, Keys to Success and Happiness. So this video, we're going to talk about what it takes to achieve success and the problems that you're having, why you're having them, and how you can overcome them. How you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing great, brother. Good to be on here.
That's awesome. Oh, dude, I really appreciate, having you on the show here.
Of course.
So tell us, about your story.
My story starts back at around age 14, and I'll make it quick for us here for the audience. But basically, my story started around age 14, and I was begging and pleading my parents to get me my first paintball gun so that I could get into professional paintball, travel the world, and get paid to compete professionally, just like all the guys I saw on YouTube and on the internet. And so, of course, my parents, oh, it's a pie in the sky dream that you want to have, it's so, and all that. And my parents, being the great parents that they are, ended up giving in, and they got me my first paintball gun. And this is at age 14. Speeding this story up really quick here, just for the sake of time. Within just a short 3 years, I did exactly everything I said and more. From the age of 14 to 17, I was one of the best professional paintball players in the world. I was on the best team in the world, Team Dynasty, and I traveled over 250,000 miles around the professionally, and I won over $300,000 in high school alone. So that was kind of like my unique hobby and opportunity for me to experience culture and mature a lot faster than most people, because I was making good money, $300,000 in high school, traveled a quarter with guys 35 years old at age 17. So it gave me a unique opportunity to be exposed to experiences that most people my age weren't exposed to, and it really taught me the mindset for success, and the mindset to achieve greatness or be a professional in anything and one of the best in the world is relatively the same, and it translates into various different industries and sports and celebrity or entertainment, whatever it is. So I've taken that mindset and sort of brought that into the business world. And so, I made the tough decision around, I think, 19 or 20 to quit and drop out of the sport. Because my ultimate purpose in life, when I started to find that out around 18 and 19 years old, as I got really into personal development, my purpose in life was more oriented around growth and contribution. And I wasn't going to be able to do that through the form of paintball. And I mean, if paintball was going to pay me millions of doing it, don't get me wrong. But, it wasn't leading down that path. And so I made the tough decision to leave my spotlight as a superstar in that little world and focused on getting my college degree done, and had the opportunity to invest a whole lot of time, energy, and money in my personal professional growth in addition to my college degree. I think today I'm just over $500,000 I've invested in addition to my college education. I just caught myself having so much that I was putting in my brain. I needed to put stuff out, and that led me to writing my first bestseller, you mentioned earlier, Shorten the Gap, Shortcuts to Success and Happiness. Got the book endorsed by a lot of the guys I grew up studying, John Asseroff, Brian Tracy, and some other really amazing individuals in the business world. Grew my first successful company right out of college and broke six figures right off the gate with $0 spent in marketing. I'm on the advisory board of a couple different companies and a partner in a couple different projects and companies as well. So, I've had a very unique and blessed life, and my purpose is all around anything that I can do that's going to allow me to grow and become a better version of myself, and then allow me to, as a result of growing and becoming more, then I can contribute and serve more. And so for me, my ultimate purpose is just finding the perfect balance of growth and contribution, and allowing myself to continue to grow and become a better version of myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and then allow me to serve people in a larger way and help them grow. And it's sort of like rising tide floats all boats. And so that's where I'm at today, is, doing interviews. There's a hornet about to fly in my window here over the beach. So my, my life is all oriented around adding value to people. And so, I'm hoping on this interview here, I can do that for your listening audience.
Yeah, dude, incredible story. So just for the viewers here, I mean, you said you spent over $500,000 on your own personal development. What were you spending all that money on?
Um, you know, I call it like the bare entry ticket to even get in the door for your personal development is investing in books. And
Mm,
I used to not be, I used to hate reading, but that was only because my neuro association of reading was pain, because I associated reading to learning stupid books that I was forced to study in school for stuff that I would never use in my life again. So when I switched the association in my brain to reading is actually pleasurable, because through the form of reading I can acquire new knowledge. And the only reason why you don't have the mental, physical, emotional, financial, or spiritual fulfillment of is because of a lack of knowledge or a lack of application of what you have. And so for me, I've learned to associate pleasure to reading and listening and any other, kinesthetic, auditory, visual way that I can learn new information that will allow me to take that information and apply it, where I can then see the benefits in a monetary way, in a physical form, and even in the emotional form. Sometimes you just hear something or read something and it changes how you feel inside. And so I started to change my neuro association to acquiring new knowledge through the form of books, audio, visual, right? All the different ways that you can learn. I did books, seminars, networking events, audio tapes, one-on-one coaching, anything that I could possibly use as a vehicle to acquire new information that I needed to learn in order to bridge the gap or shorten the gap from where I am to where I wanted to be in the different areas of my life. I did and still am 100% committed to consuming as much information as I can that will allow me to A, be able to grow professionally, and B, be able to contribute and serve others in a larger way, because ultimately your income is a direct reflection of the quantity, quality, and consistency of the value that you render to an individual or a business. And so in order to increase your income, because I'm sure anyone listening to this right now would like to make more money. And so, if you can just remember that your income is a direct reflection of the quality, quantity, and consistency of the value that you can render to an individual or a business. If you want to increase your income, then you need to do just that. And you need to increase the value that you can offer to a person or a business. And the way that you offer more value is either by applying knowledge that you have currently that you're not doing to the fullest optimized potential, or you need to acquire new knowledge, which most people consider going to college and getting a different various form of a degree to add value. But if your education stops there, your income usually only grows by an average of 3 to 5% per year for most people. So, I've associated a lot of pleasure to investing in education, because the more I invest in education, the right education, and then apply it, the more my life transforms. And, if you can see here, I'm overlooking
oh, nice.
overlooking the beautiful ocean. And, I do all my calls or interviews usually just here because it's just so peaceful, and I write books and everything I do here. But all of this has been possible for me in my early 20s because I've learned to acquire information and then apply it in my life, and then take that money and invest it back in my education. And it's just sort of like a very lucrative investment opportunity, is something that a lot of people don't understand, is invest in your education and it'll pay the largest ROI.
Yeah. Why don't you tell everybody how old you are?
I'm 24 right now, but I turned 25 this month. It's April. I don't even know. It's April something right
I don't even
now.
know.
And,
Come on, man.
day it is, dude. I don't care. It doesn't really affect me. I just look in my calendar. If I've got something to do, then I do it, and I've got my giant list of stuff that I have to do with my team and I. And as long as for me, a Monday can be a Saturday if I want. I created a lifestyle that I'm not confined to the calendar and the time frames that most people are restricted by. So.
Yeah, I was bringing that up because I want the viewers to know that it's possible to achieve success at a young age, and that age is not the end determinant of your success.
Exactly, yeah, and that's one of my biggest passions is working with young people. And young people is an ambiguous term, so I'll shorten it. People that are around the age of 18 to 28. But the funny thing is, the majority of my clients are older than me, and even I've got clients that are 2 and 3 times my age. So age is really not a limitation. I used to think it was, and sometimes I still struggle with that. You know, I'm human. I still make up, you know, self-doubts and limiting beliefs because our brain is conditioned to keep us surviving, not thriving. And so I'm constantly conditioning my brain. But yeah, dude, success at a young age is easier now than it's ever been before. I mean, going to the extreme in the top of the ladder, you see kids in college making, you know, an application in their dorm room that sells for $1 billion. And so within 18 months, right? It's like never before has it been possible to create the type of abundance and exponential growth that there is in the opportunistic way of the, you know, economy that we live in right now, and the technology that we have literally at our fingertips here on my smartphone, my tablet, the computer, whatever. You know, and if you're listening to this, then you've got the same access to the tools and resources that I've used to get to where I'm at. And it all starts just, you know, one YouTube video, one book, one seminar, one person, one interview like this at a time. And as you acquire that knowledge and you stay committed to your goal and your focus and your purpose, anything can happen. And for me, it's about helping young people make the things that they want to have happen in their life faster. Because I think if you're doing what everyone else is doing, which is you're going to college, and by the age of 23, 24, 25, maybe that's older, right? 21 to 25 now is the average age that people graduate with a 4-year degree. So if you graduate college at 21 to 25, maybe you got an internship, your focus is 99% of the time going and getting a job that's going to pay you 30 to 40 grand a year right out of college. And hopefully, you know, hopefully you don't have any debt. And if you do, you know, the average college graduate has around $30,000 in debt. So it's like, if you have that as your focus and every action that you're taking is towards moving forward to graduating and getting that job for 30 to 40 grand, you're not, no wonder you think that what I'm doing is crazy, but all I'm doing is different actions than you're doing. And so I get different results. You know, if I in class, and I'm not saying to do this, and just because you do it doesn't mean you'll get the same results I've gotten. But when I was in class, you know, I'd be holding the textbook up, and behind the textbook would be a book from Jay Abraham or Tony Robbins or John Assaraf or Brian Tracy or Evan Pagan or all the different guys I could name, because I knew that, you know, the stuff I was learning in the book was the same thing that everyone sitting next to me was learning. And so if we're all sitting in the same room and we're all getting the same education, the only difference is going to be how we apply it. And again, you can't get out of college and just miraculously get an $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 job, or even, you know, $500,000 job or whatever. But when you take control of yourself and you read books that teach you how to go out and create that lifestyle for yourself and monetize your passion and add more value, because as I said earlier, adding more value is going to be a reflection of your ability to increase your income. That's why the value that you can add is usually only $30,000 to $40,000, maybe $50,000 right out of college, because you acquired knowledge that is only going to allow you to add the value in proportion to that knowledge. And that's about 30 to 40 to 50 grand if you're lucky, if you even get a job, because 55% of college grads nowadays are unemployed or underemployed. So there's over a 50% chance you're going to be unemployed or underemployed right when you walk out the door. And there's an 85% chance, based on last year's statistics, that you're going to move back in with your parents to save up money and pay off college debt before you even go out into the real world by yourself. So knowing those statistics and knowing that if you follow the mold that everybody's going through, I call it the car wash, right? If you go through the same car wash, but if a Ferrari goes through the car wash and then a minivan goes through the car wash, they're not both going to get cleaned, but they have the same flappy things trying to clean it. But a Ferrari needs to be cleaned differently than a minivan, and an SUV needs to be treated different than a sedan. But we're all taught to go through the same car wash, and you can't go through the same car wash and then expect to come out with different results. And so, you know, if you're listening right now, you got to go out and you got to start doing things differently and thinking differently. And that's the first way that you can start to produce different results, right? Living here in $1 million condo overlooking the ocean right now, living with my best friend who's in the other room doing work right now. You know, all of this that I've been a business partner, been able to do all of this because I did what other people didn't do. I mean, my friend has a $250,000 college education and he's working with me. You know, he went to AT&T, he did the corporate thing, and that wasn't the right fit for him. He wanted to be more entrepreneurial. So it's like, you know, I could go on a tangent about all this clearly, but because I'm really passionate about making sure that young people understand that they can create anything they want in their life, and they can have anything they want in their life, and they can have it now in their 20s, or even earlier, right? But 20s is like a great goal. I think that if you can set your sight on having everything you want in life in your 20s, that you can have, right? Of course, you know, there's certain things that you can't, but like for me, wow, like having I'm obsessed with the beach, and I always was like, oh, I want a mansion on the beach and all this stuff. Well, I got $1 million condo on the beach. It's close enough. And I'm only 24, and, you know, in a couple of years, I'll have that mansion on the beach. But all these things have been everything. I look at something and I go, you know, I can have that and that and that and that. All I have to do is acquire the knowledge to figure out how to get that, or how to add the value to earn the income to then go and buy that. So if, you know, if you can take that little piece of information away, you can achieve anything you want in your youth if you just go out and get the right knowledge. That will be in direct proportion to the knowledge that you have will be the ability that you can add value to people. And so go get more knowledge so you can add more value. And if you add more value, you'll earn more income. You can have more decisions and freedom to do the things that you want. Maybe it's get a place on the beach. Maybe it's take your family on vacation. It could be anything. But more knowledge allows you to add more value, and more value allows you to earn more income. So
that's awesome. Look, so let's dive into some problems here, Mark. You know, what are some major problems that you see with your clients, and how are you able to help them overcome these problems?
You know, it's such a, and I always say this whenever anyone asks me a question, because 99% of the time they ask and there's nothing wrong with it. They ask a broad, ambiguous question. All I can do is all I can do is give a broad, ambiguous answer.
Yeah.
And so if somebody asks a broad, so I'm just letting, and this is valuable for the audience too. So it's like if I get a broad, or if you ask, so the quality of your questions will be a result of the quality of your answers. And so, you know, successful people ask quality questions, and as a result, they get quality answers. And so for me to say what the most common problems are, I can do that as a, you know, out of context. I could say the most common things that everyone struggles with, in my experience, is procrastination. They're emotionally unfit. They don't know how to manage their time well, because in reality, you can't manage time. It's going to fleet and go by no matter what. It's gone. It's gone. You can't manage that. We're constantly being pushed or pulled into the future. So I can't manage time, because if you manage it, you can control it. You cannot control time. And so activities within the time. And so the essence of time management is totally out of context, because it's implying that you're going to manage your time better, but in reality, you can only manage the actions within your time better. And so that's a distinction right there to be made. And so it's time management, but in reality, I'll just use that because that's the word that people understand. So time management, procrastination, they're emotionally unfit, they have poor communication skills, and communication skills is so important, because not just your ability to communicate with others will have an impact on your quality of your relationships, and your, you know, quality of your day, and your ability to earn more income. It's unlikely that you'll meet a very articulate person who's incredibly poor financially. It's just usually it's usually a mismatch. The pattern of being articulate is usually not a direct reflection of the pattern of being broke. Articulate people usually make more money than unarticulate people. So the things that I realize are most common are, like I mentioned, time management, procrastination, emotionally unfit, poor communication skills externally and internally, meaning they talk poorly with themselves internally in their mind. And that's through the form of self-doubts and limiting beliefs, is you're putting yourself down, and you have a poor ability to control your focus. That's another one. Most people can't control their focus. For example, you know, something externally outside of you happens, and you easily allow it to, keyword, influence how you feel internally, because you have weak focus skills, you have weak communication skills. Maybe you don't even realize that your physiology has one of the largest impacts over your emotional state throughout the day, and you're always walking around slouching, and you know, just by sitting up straight and holding your posture better, you instantly can feel better. So it's just little things that people all have, myself too. I have no delusions that I'm perfect, or that, you know, the things that I'm even saying right now might be able to benefit you. I just know that I've spent a lot of time studying certain specific information, and I've tested a lot of it, and the stuff that works really well for me, well for other people, But yeah, again, back to a question out of context that's sort of broad and ambiguous can only give me a broad and ambiguous answer. If you were to say, oh, well, what about my clients that are in business? Okay, well, I'd have a more, what aspect? Is it marketing? Is it this? Is it this? So clients that come to me that are young have different problems than clients that come to me that maybe come to me for relationship counseling or for business consulting. So those things that I shared are the most common things that I see people are struggling with in their life, that again, myself included, and everybody needs to continuously work on. One of my favorite sayings is CANI, constant and never-ending improvement in every area of your life. Tiny, tiny, tiny improvements every day. If you make a 1% improvement in every area of your life every day, all right, I won't even do every day. If you make a 1% improvement over an entire week, 7 days, 1 week, if you make a 1% improvement in every area of your life, meaning you spent 7 days and you spent however much time, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes, focused on improving your relationships, focused on improving your ability to communicate by studying more, focused on your ability to get in better physical and mental shape, focused on emotional mastery, focused on how to add more value by acquiring knowledge that would allow you to then add that value. So if you focus every day on improving 1% or every week improving 1% in all the areas of your life, there's 52 weeks in a year. 1% a week would be 52% increase in every area of your life in 1 year. You could have increased every area of your life by 100%, meaning your relationships would be 100% better in just 2 years. Your body would be years. That's whatever that means, 100% better, right? Now, finances is easy to say because if you increased by 100%, what you did was you doubled your income. Most people have an average increase in their income of 3 to 5% per year. If you just increase 1% every week, in 2 years, you'll have doubled your income. I double my income almost every quarter or every year because I'm constantly acquiring new knowledge to add more value. And as a result of adding more value, I make more money. But I'm constantly acquiring the new knowledge. Most people go out and with the same knowledge, they try to get different results. That's considered insanity in some regards. And so you've got to acquire new knowledge. Most people try to do it through the form of experience. Again, I could go on a tangent because I feel like if you open Pandora's box and I try to get into like coaching and stuff, which I always want to do, is any way that I can add the most value to somebody listening, I want to. But yes, give me some more contextual questions so that I can hopefully give a more precise answer.
Yeah. So, our viewers are younger adults and college students. So for these type of people, you were talking about, I've heard you say this before, that change comes about because of pain. So for someone that's in college or a younger adult and they feel comfortable in the situation, how can they bring about change in their life?
Great question. Fantastic question. And a very specific frame of reference there. So I can give a much better answer. Somebody who's, all right. So you're more motivated by pain than you are by pleasure. So about 5 times, research says that you're about 5 times or 500% more motivated to avoid pain than you are to gain pleasure. So with that in mind, how does one avoid pain? Well, they do that by either changing their belief systems or by behaving differently. And belief systems, just to give a frame of reference, would be the only reason why, and this may sound bad, and I don't mean this in any offensive way at all to anyone listening who's religious. Most people get into religion because they want to avoid, and this is ambiguous, and I won't even state the religion, but most people want to get into a religion because they want to avoid going to hell. And they want to go to heaven. But most people get into the religion because they want to avoid going to hell. What do they say? They don't say don't do that because you won't get into heaven. They say don't do that because you'll go to hell, right? This equals going to hell. So they try to, most of their, and you can tell a lot through people's language, right? If I'm constantly saying, if I don't do this, I'll go to hell, versus if I don't do this, I won't go to heaven. You can tell that just by saying, if I don't do this, I'll go to hell, I'm more motivated to avoid the pain than I am to gain the pleasure. And so it's like the old saying, right? Would you rather try to stop somebody from stealing $1,000 out of your pocket, or would you rather try harder to go out and earn $1,000 that day? Most people would rather, if they had $1,000 in their pocket, they would try harder to stop somebody from stealing that $1,000 than they would today to go and earn $1,000. And if you think that, oh, well, Mark, I'd rather go earn 1,000, go out and earn $1,000 today, right? Prove it correct. Go out and earn $1,000 today if you're more motivated to do that, right? So the way that you can get yourself to do anything in life is by controlling where you focus. Are you focused on avoiding pain? Are you focused on gaining pleasure? Or best case scenario, use a combination of the two. For example, I was more motivated to read books in college, and I didn't care about my grades because I knew that, you know, how many people listening right now, right? How many people do you know that are millionaires and billionaires that don't have high school or college educations? Right? We all go, oh yeah, I know. You know, Bill Gates dropped out, Steve Jobs dropped out, this guy dropped out, Mark Cuban dropped, right? So all these people dropped out. We know that. So if some of the most successful people on the planet didn't even have a college education or degree, what's different? Well, they got their education somewhere else. So for me, I've always aspired to want to be, and I've given myself the gift, and I honor you to give yourself the gift right now of making yourself understand that you were put on this planet for a purpose, and that you are, just like I am, and just like you are, Ryan, and everyone listening, you are destined for greatness as soon as you give yourself that gift. And I gave myself that gift of believing that I was put on this planet for a purpose, which I now know is a combination of growing and contributing, because the more I grow, the more I can serve others. And so give yourself the gift of believing you're destined for greatness. And by doing that, what it does is it takes your level of responsibility up. Because if you're truly destined for greatness, are you going to sit in a class and learn the same thing everyone else is and go to an internship and go get a job for 30, 40 grand? That's not what you want to do. 99% of the people don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. And if you do want to do it, it's probably just because you've concocted this weak little box that you live in. I'd rather have security and comfort and know that if I show up and don't do anything, I'll still get my paycheck in 2 weeks, where I don't get paid if I don't produce results. But guess what? I'll get paid your yearly salary in a day if I produce the results that equal the value that are proportionate to that. So, you know, for me, I associated more pain to doing what everybody in the room was doing. Everyone else in the room is like, I got to do really well here, because if I don't, then they think that they'll get pain in the real world. If I don't do well in school, I won't do well in the real world. When in reality, you can do really well in school and do horrible in the real world. Because in the real world, I hate when people say the real world. We're all in the real world right now, but you get the frame of context I'm referring to as college, and then you graduate and you're in the real world. And so I associated more pain to studying a textbook, getting an A, and getting a job for 40 grand and going up the ladder. Because at the end of the day, you know, talk to anybody who's been out of college for 5 years and ask them when the last person asked them what their grades were in college. No one gives a shit what your grades were in college after a couple years out of college. Maybe your first job that you sit at, they're going to ask you what your grades were, because that's the only thing you have that's valuable, right? So again, the person that's fat associates more pain to going to the gym. The person that's in super good shape associates more pain to not going to the gym. Does that make sense? It's the same thing. It's going to the gym, and then there's pain, but two different forms of pain. If I don't go to the gym, I associate pain because I'll get fat, I feel bad, you know, I feel groggy. So if I don't go to the gym, I associate pain to it. If I do go to the gym and I'm fat, I associate pain to it. I got to sweat. I got to get tired. I got to go lift weights. And so it's the same thing. I'm just using a different form of pain. I could focus, like, trust me, when you or I or anyone listening doesn't go to the gym, it's only because of one thing. We associated more pain to going to the gym than we did the pain of not going to the gym. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
If you go, oh, I'm tired, I'm not going to go to the gym today. You're associating pain to going to the gym. I'm tired. I have to get up. I'm sore. I won't work out very hard. So you start rationalizing it, telling yourself rational lies. And so, you know, the point is, and I could go on and do a week seminar about this. The point of this is that you asked me earlier, how could we get, how could we get young people to understand that they can go out and do anything? What was the specific question?
You know, I think a lot of people, I would say our age feel like comfortable. They feel that they're set and they can just go work a job for someone else. And I don't think they understand.
Yeah. So they don't understand what's possible for them because they've only ever had a horse muzzle on them. And so it's sort of like and I forgot, there's a crazy story about something to do with like a psychological thing where they trap people in a cage and they only showed them shadows, and then like they let them go and then they saw like the whole world and it like blew their mind. I don't remember it, so I won't get into it, but it's sort of like you've got your horse blinders on and you've been looking at one step in front of you, college and internship and job, college and internship and job, and you only know that path, and you've heard about the crazy people in the world that are doing stuff, that's making lots of money and all these opportunities, and I wish. And so that's the first thing that you've got to change right there is you've got to get the horse blinders off your face. You've got to start reading books like, and I can recommend a ton of them, How to Get Everything You Can Out of All You've Got by Jay Abraham, the book Bold by Peter Diamandis, Having It All by John Assaraf, Every Single Product of Tony Robbins. You've got to go out and you've got to start studying information, because one of the biggest things I work with people on is I help them think differently. And so that's the first thing you've got to change. Is most people are trying to change the way they behave, meaning they're trying to change the way the computer will work, but they don't want to change the software or the firmware or the hardware. And so the computer can only do what it can do if it's got the same version of the software, right? It cannot do anything else but what it's programmed to do. You are going to be stuck in your ability to produce the results that you're producing based on the software that you've got going on in your head, right? For me, it's like, Mark 12.0, because I'm constantly updating my software. I'm constantly getting new knowledge. So if you want to go out and you want to create anything that's possible in your life, you got to update the software in your brain, and you do that through acquiring more knowledge. And I keep bringing it back. Oh, great, he's talking about more knowledge again. Yeah, I am, because the only thing that's holding you back from having all of the things you want in your life right now is a lack of knowledge or a lack of application of that knowledge at the right time in the right order. And so, go out, start studying how to monetize your passion, whatever that may be. I started studying things that would make my life better, and as a result, making my life better and teaching others how to make their life and their business better became my passion. I didn't even know that. My passion was paintball. And then it became making my life better, and now getting paid to help make others' lives and their businesses better, as I just said. So for you, people, I always think it's so funny when people come to me but Mark, how do I monetize my passion? And I go, so let me ask you, how much time, energy, money, and resources on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis do you spend trying to understand how to monetize your passion so that you can do it in a more efficient and effective way and actually bridge the gap between wanting to do it and making it a reality? And people go, how much time, energy, money, and resources on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis do I spend? Zero, because I'm just focused on college. And you wonder why you're so far off the path, or it seems so far away to monetize your passion. But you don't even spend a freaking hour a week or a day or a month or a year trying to figure it out. Or maybe you did and you go, Mark, I've tried everything. You haven't tried everything, because if you did, you'd be doing it right. And so, it's just getting that where they spend their time is going to be a result of everything else. I spend my time differently than a lot of the other people my age. And Mark, how do you have all these good different things? Well, I spend my time differently than you do, right? And so, and that's why we were laughing earlier. I don't know if it's Thursday. I just looked at my computer. I don't know if it's Monday, Saturday, or Wednesday. It doesn't matter to me, because my time frame is on a different schedule than everybody else. All I have to do is live my life and produce results and get paid. For me, it doesn't matter. I can, live my lifestyle in any way I want. And that's because of acquiring knowledge. Again, back to that. So if you're listening, you want to monetize your passion. You don't even know what your passion is. You might want to spend some time figuring that out. You may not know what your purpose is. You might want to spend some time figuring that out. I think what's funny is, I just had this conversation with a client yesterday in San Diego, is you've got your like an onion, and it's got all these layers, and whatever you say, you peel back all the layers, and the essence of everybody's purpose in life, my belief is, it either is or it should be the nucleus, the center of your purpose should be built on a foundation of growth and contribution. People are like, I want to be able to go out and help people around the world. Okay, contribution. I want to be able to go out and, you know, help my family live a better lifestyle. And there, okay, contribution. I want to be able to, you know, travel the world. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? It's going to allow you to grow. Maybe you travel